Hello, welcome to BioGreat TV. If you're new here, please subscribe and turn on the notification so you don't miss our next video. How political parties started in Mozambique. When communist and anti-colonial ideologies began to spread out across Africa, several secret political movements were established in support of Mozambican independence. These movements argued that policies and development plans were essentially designed by the ruling authorities to favor Mozambique's Portuguese population and that little attention was paid to Mozambique's tribal integration and the development of its native communities. This affected a majority of the indigenous people who faced both state-sponsored discrimination and many social pressure. The Front for the Liberation of Mozambique, that is FRELIMO, started a guerrilla campaign against Portuguese rule in 1964. This campaign, along with the two others, which were already initiated in the other Portuguese colonies of Angola and Portuguese Guinea, formed part of the so-called Portuguese Colonial War, which lasted from 1961 to 1974. FRELIMO was founded in Dar es Salaam in present-day Tanzania on the 25th of June 1962. It was a merger of the three regional nationalist organizations, the National Democratic Union of Mozambique, that is UDENAMO, Mozambican African National Union, that is MANU, and the National African Union of Independent Mozambique, that is UNAMI. Together, they became one broad-based guerrilla movement that fought the Portuguese colonialists. Eduardo Mondlane served as the first president of the newly formed Mozambican Liberation Front, while Uriah Simango was elected vice. The movement had to be headquartered in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, as it could not then be based in Mozambique because the Portuguese opposed nationalist movements. The three founding groups of FRELIMO had also operated as exiles. President Julius Nyerere of Tanzania was sympathetic to the Mozambican nationalist groups and opened his country's doors to them. Convinced that peaceful agitation would not bring about independence, FRELIMO carried out its first offensive in September 1964. After 10 years of intermittent warfare and Portugal's return to democracy through a military coup in Lisbon, FRELIMO took control of the territory. Within a year, most of the Portuguese population in Mozambique, numbering about 250,000, had left, some expelled by the government of the nearly independent territory, others fleeing in fear, and Mozambique officially attained independence from Portugal on the 25th of June 1975. The new government of Mozambique under President Samuel Machel established a one-party state based on Marxist principles. It got diplomatic and military support from both Cuba and the then Soviet Union and embarked on a crackdown on opposition. Within a short time after independence, the country was plunged into a civil war from 1977 to 1992. The war was between the FRELIMO regime and the opposition forces of anti-communist Mozambican National Resistance (RENAMO) rebel militias. RENAMO was established in 1976 following Mozambican independence. The group incorporated a number of diverse recruits brought together based on their opposition to the country's new Marxist FRELIMO government. In 1986, President Samora Machel, along with some other officials in his government, died in an air crash in South African territory. His successor, Joaquim Chissano, went on to implement sweeping changes in the country and began peace talks with RENAMO. A new constitution, which allowed a multi-party political system and free elections, was enacted in 1990. In October 1992, the civil war officially ended. Elections were conducted in Mozambique in 1994. FRELIMO's candidate and incumbent president Joaquim Chissano emerged winner, while RENAMO, led by Afonso Dhlakama, became the official opposition. In 1995, Mozambique joined the Commonwealth of Nations. It was at that time the only member nation that was never part of the British Empire. In December 1999, the second elections since the Civil War were held. Again, it was won by FRELIMO. This time, RENAMO did not accept the result, declaring that FRELIMO won through fraudulent means. It threatened to return to civil war, but retreated after the matter was taken to the Supreme Court, which ruled in favor of FRELIMO. In 2001, President Chissano announced that he would not be running for a third term. He went on to criticize leaders who stayed on longer than he had, many concluding he was referring to Zimbabwe's Robert Mugabe then, who was on his fourth term, and Zambia's Frederick Chiluba, who at the time was contemplating a third term. 3 years after, in December 2004, presidential elections again held, and the ruling FRELIMO party's candidate, Armando Guebuza, won with 64% of the popular vote. His opponent, Afonso Dhlakama of RENAMO, got 32% of the popular vote. FRELIMO also grabbed 160 seats in parliament, while a coalition of RENAMO and a number of small parties took up the 90 remaining seats. Armando Guebuza was sworn in as Mozambique's third president on the 2nd of February 2005. He served 2 terms in office. FRELIMO continued as the ruling party when it again won the presidential elections of 2014. Filipe Nyusi, who was the party's flag bearer in the election, became the president of Mozambique. He was re-elected in a landslide victory in the 2019 elections. What have we missed out of this history? Let's know in the comment section. Will it be ridiculous to subscribe to our channel? If no, please like this video, share, and subscribe to our channel.